my technical difficulties this morning. You would think I've never done this before. Aha. Okay, so I am so stinking excited to share this new training with you. It is some of the old stuff that you may have heard from me before, but as I continue to learn things and put things together, I'm really excited to share those things with you. And even more so, I'm really excited that I have people who are currently in my group coaching program, like listening and watching this presentation, one, because they know that it's going to be jam-packed of value and they're going to get a ton out of it, even though they're currently accessing my amazing group coaching program. And they get to see this brand new resource that I just put together last night and be super excited and go start implementing it today, which is also really exciting. So today we are talking about the 3 steps to creating consistent 5K months. And so if you are somebody who wants to be creating consistent 5K months in your business, I want you to drop a yes or 1 in the comments. Like, yes, that's me. That's what I want. And you guys, the money number is not super important to me. The thing that's important to me is that you understand that consistent income months is different than like hitting a 10K month one time. And then like, that's not consistent. That's not going to help us build a sustainable business. The piece that's really important about this is the consistency piece. So if the thing that you want to make is not quite 5K months, it's 3K months, this is still a great training for you. If you're somebody who's like, I want to be reaching consistent 7, 8, 9, 10K months, cool. This training is still for you. We are still going to cover the tools that you need, these 3 steps. This is the thing that you have to do in order to reach that consistent income, right? And again, if you guys have questions or anything like that, just pop them into the chat and I will be able to see them. Okay. Over on Facebook too, you're engaging with me, be here with me. If you're on Zoom with me, you don't have to be on both of them, but you totally can. It's up to you. Okay, so I am really super duper passionate about helping freelancing moms create sustainable businesses so that you can ultimately avoid burnout. Because for as much as we might have a high in our business where we're bringing in the income, it's like that place that you finally get to where you're like, okay, I'm doing the thing. People are going to pay me to do this specific task over here. I still get to work from home. That feels amazing. And the train is chugging along, right? We've now overcome this idea that like, that's not a reality for me. What happens though, is if you continue to run your business the way that you did when you first started, you are eventually going to reach this point where it starts to feel like you're working really, really hard and the output of it, the outcome, is not exactly what you're looking for. And if we continue to work at that capacity where we put in a lot, but what we get out of it is not super great, then it's going to be really, really hard for us to avoid that burnout spot. And that's ultimately what we want to do. We want to build something that is sustainable so that we don't reach that burnout. So that when you are putting in the work, the energy you're putting into something, the output is greater. Okay, so I have a question for you. If you were to continue to run your business the way that you currently are right now, is that something that's sustainable? Can you continue to run your business that way? And are you reaching burnout? Because I would venture to guess if you're continuing to run your business the way that you did in the beginning, that you are eventually going to reach that spot of being completely and totally burnt out. And there's a mindset shift that has to come along with it as well. It's not just these tactical things that we're going to talk about today, but it's also this mindset that you don't want to keep doing it that way. Because when we get to those places where it's like, I really need to bring in the income, and so I have this potential client sitting right here, they're going to pay me money, but the work that I'd be doing for them is not ideal. And the amount of time and energy that they're wanting from me is not ideal, but they're going to pay me. And if I say no, I don't necessarily have somebody else waiting over here. When we get to that place, if you say yes to this potential client, we are still operating from the same mindset that we were when we first started our businesses. And that is not sustainable. Okay. So it doesn't have to be like this. And with some shifts and some tweaks, you can go from being on the verge of burnout to really thriving in your business. You also have to be willing to make some sacrifices for a short-term period, for a season, in order to get to yourself to a business that you really love and is functioning really well. Okay. It's going to be like pushing that boulder up a hill and you're not quite sure where the top is. You're going to have to push really, really hard. And if you can do that, if you can make some sacrifices in the short term, the thing that ends up being a result of what you've built, that thing is sustainable. Okay. So we're talking about what it takes to reach consistent 5K months. We're going to talk about the fastest way for you to land clients and how to create content that converts leads into clients. Because ultimately that's the thing that's going to help us create that consistency. Okay. So are you ready to find out what it takes to create consistent 5K months? Drop a yes in the comments. Sweet. John's ready. Kelly's ready. Okay, we are ready. Okay, do you like free things? It's supposed to be a little gift. Yeah, there she is. She's happy. She's very excited. That's me. I'm very excited. I love free stuff. So if you stick with me all the way until the very end, I have a super duper awesome free gift for you. And I mean, it's something that doesn't really exist outside of this opportunity. You can't really access this free gift in any other sort of capacity. So I hope you'll stick with me because it's really awesome. Okay. If we have never met before, my name is Elise Colson. And one of the biggest reasons why I know what it takes to build consistent 5K months is because I've been there. And I've also been in the space where I was on the verge of reaching burnout. And so I know deep in my soul how stressful and upsetting it can be to be in that space of feeling like you don't know what to do next. And you know that if you keep doing things the way that you're doing them, nothing good is going to result from it. Okay. So I started my baby business in May of 2018. I had two beautiful babies at the time, a brand new baby girl who now is 4 and is she's the sass queen. And I had a 2-year-old. And the thing that I was finding is that for as much as I loved my job, I was a school administrator at the time, and I'd been in education for 10 years, knowing that being an educator was the thing that I wanted to do my whole life. Since I was 7 years old, I knew what I wanted to be and what I was going to do. And I was sitting there, and for as much as I loved what I was doing and loved the people that I was working with, and like at the end of the day, when I laid out like all the reasons to not be there, really the biggest thing was that I was missing out on the life that was happening with my kids. That was the biggest thing. And so for as much as I loved my job, I loved my kids more. And I was no longer willing to make the sacrifice of all of my time in order to do the thing that I like. I wasn't willing to make that sacrifice anymore, to miss days with my kids. And so I decided to start my business. Something I had it was not on my radar. Starting a business, not something that I ever dreamed of doing, ever. Being an entrepreneur was not I was not even thinking about it. And I watched this really awesome webinar and free training, much like the one that you're on. And by the end of it, I knew that being a freelancer was the thing that I needed to do in order to be able to stay home with my kids and work from home. Also, side note, I'm an introvert. I really like being by myself. I love myself some alone time. And I really love not sitting in 3 hours of traffic every day. That was also really key to starting my business. And so I started my business, and it took me 6 months to land my first client, which was hard. You see all these people popping up all over the place. I'm like, I landed my first client, and they're like 2 weeks in. Ugh. It was so stressful. And I was like, is this even something I can do? But I was going to make it happen. And if you know anything about me, you have to know that once I set my mind to something, I'm going to figure out a way to make it work, because I know that the thing that has been laid on my heart is there for a reason. And so this wasn't something I was going to try. This was something I was going to do. And so I persevered, and I continued to make some shifts and changes, and started talking to more people and putting myself out there a little bit more. And so it took me 6 months to land my client, but you guys, my first client, dream client. Didn't even know she was a dream client. Dream client. Okay. I felt like I was on top of the world. It was amazing. I was making $150 a month to help this amazing woman with her coaching business. And then it took me another 6 months to really start gaining momentum in my business. And a lot of that was on me. And we don't have time today to go into all of the reasons why it took me so long. But I also knew that I wasn't going to give up. Okay. And so for however long you've been running your business, the number of years, the number of months is not important. It's how you are feeling about the way that you're running your business. That's the piece that's important. Okay. And so the problem was, though, the thing that I was doing is I was collecting clients. I had a bunch of little contracts that resulted in me working with 9 different clients, doing lots of little things. And so I had a $50 an hour rate that I would use to base all of my proposals and contracts off of. But when you're taking on clients that only need you a couple hours a month, even 5 hours a month, was resulting in me working with clients that were paying me $250 a month, which is not a small amount of money. And yet, in order for me to reach my 5K month goal that I needed in order to quit my 9 to 5, I was going to need a whole lot of clients. Okay. I was also doing a whole bunch of different things, because that's what happens. When we start our business, they tell us to go talk to people and to help them solve problems, and I'm a problem solver. But the problem was then that I was working with a whole bunch of clients doing a whole bunch of different things. And then when people would ask me what I did, I didn't know how to tell them. I went to the Rise Business Conference in November of 2019, and I had this opportunity to network with 6,000 business owners, which was a little overwhelming, but that's a different story. And it was people would ask me what I did, and it was I help organize the back end of people's businesses, because I wasn't doing that for anybody. It's the thing I wanted to be doing, but I didn't even know what that looked like. So how could I even tell people that that's what I was doing? Okay. And then around that same time, I lost 2/3 of my clients in less than a month. I had one of my clients, my highest paying client, send me an email at the end of November and tell me that she was giving me her 30 days notice because she had talked to her husband, who was now running her budget, and it didn't make financial sense for her to keep working with me. And I was crushed. And then that happened with a handful of other clients as well. And so I had been like chugging along and building momentum and gaining the clients and doing the things. And then it all came crashing down because I wasn't actually doing it in any sort of sustainable way. And honestly, and so like Kelly said, like that can be really devastating. The most devastating piece was to my ego and my confidence. We can always make more money. But when somebody tells you that they don't want to work with you anymore, it hits you in a different part because we are emotionally attached to our businesses. And part of what we do with inside of group coaching is we start to work on detaching ourselves from the emotional side of our business. Like we love our clients and it's still a business transaction. And so when they tell us they can't work with us anymore, more often than not, it has nothing to do with us. Has to do with the bottom line of running a business. Same goes for my coaching business. Like when I have coaching clients who are like, cool, so I'm gonna have to pull out of group coaching. I cry. I cry every time because I love you and I want to help you and I know how to help you be successful. And the end of the day, it's still a business transaction. So here I was, I lost 2/3 of my clients. And the biggest kicker was that I still wasn't making enough to replace my 9 to 5. So I was still working a 9 to 5 and collecting all of these clients and trying to like serve them in such a way that didn't make them feel like I had 9 clients. I was not doing a good job of that. And I had no idea how to gain back the clients to replace the ones that I had lost. I sat there and I was like, do I even know what I'm doing? Like, I feel like I'm on a reality show and somebody is trying to punk me. Like, what is happening right now? And I wasn't even sure that I wanted to replace the work that I'd been doing for my clients. And so it was very much a come to Jesus moment of like, cool, what you gonna do, Elise? What changes are we going to make? Because what we're doing right now, that is not the way that we're going to be able to keep running our business. Okay. So some of the things that I did is I enrolled myself for the first time in group coaching. And it wasn't even so much that the group coaching was the essential piece. It was now I finally had somebody that when I had a question, I could go to somebody instead of continuing to throw spaghetti at the wall and just try things and see if they worked, but not really have any feedback on it. And so it was really paramount working with somebody who had walked the walk that I was walking. And the beautiful thing about group coaching is that you have this community of people that you can also collectively work together. Okay. I figured out the services that I actually wanted to provide for my clients, the things I enjoyed doing with the clients I was already working with, and how I was going to shift and change that to a new offer. And then I also started a gratitude journal and making actionable steps for myself. It was no longer just being a victim to my life and my circumstances. That's not what we wanted to do. Okay. So, and then what ended up happening? So I niched down into content repurposing, which I absolutely love and adore. And in 3 months, I was able to replace my income that I had lost, and I was working with fewer clients. I also had to go to the back end of my business and create some systems that were going to allow me to avoid a shocking loss of income or clients. Because that was one of the biggest like things. It was like, I went from 9 clients to 3 clients and didn't see it coming. And so I don't want you to be in that situation. And so within 6 months, I had actually replaced my 9 to 5 income and I was able to quit my job. I had accomplished in 6 months what it had taken me 18 months to do. And I was doing it so much better. I was doing it in a way that actually like made me happy versus like not even knowing what to do with myself. And I contribute a lot of that to the fact that I was in a coaching container that allowed me to get feedback, that allowed me to work through some things. And really, just it was the feedback piece more than anything, knowing that I had these ideas and I had somebody that I could go to. Okay. I want to remind you though. So I lost 2/3 of my clients and it was November, December 2019, which means that the next 6 months was January 2020 through June 2020. And if you remember, like that's when we were in a pandemic and everybody was losing their minds and telling themselves that couldn't make this thing work and all kinds of things were happening. We also bought a new house. I ended up having my 3rd kid and I still had clients who left. But now, because I had systems to back it up, I knew how to go in and replace that income so that I didn't see this huge dip in income. If I knew that I had a client who was going to be leaving, I could go in, find a new client to fill that spot. It became very systematic. It became running a business versus being a victim to what was happening within inside your business. Okay. Some other things that we need to keep in mind. Creating a sustainable business isn't going to fix everything. It doesn't just make it easy peasy and you're going to be sitting on the beach drinking Mai Tais. You still have to work. You still have to put in the work. And I still have moments of feeling overwhelmed and not knowing what to do next. But I have a really good support system that helps me work through that. And the other big thing, working with kids at home is way harder than most people think. I still struggle with communicating with my family members and my husband and about my very sacred business time. And that honestly, nobody is paying me to show up at a certain time and then clock out at a certain time. And that's hard. That's hard, especially with kids at home. Okay. Seeing other moms struggle with running their freelancing business, it like hurts me. It hurts me in the depths of my soul because I know how beautiful it can be to run a business that you truly love working on, working with clients you love, and making more than enough money to support your family. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to build this reality for you and bridge that gap. Okay. I just saw yesterday another woman who said that she was closing her doors to her business because she just couldn't do it anymore. And I don't want that to be you. Okay. So are you ready? Are you ready to make consistent 5K months and beyond? Because like I said, it's not about the money income, it's about the consistency piece. Are you ready to only work 20 hours a week? Are you ready to actually love your business again? Drop a yes if that's you. Okay. Make sure you have your workbook. Make sure you have your action task chart. And we're going to dive in and give you these 3 steps that you need to create consistent 5K months. Okay. And remember, I know that this works because this is my reality. And I know, I've helped other moms do the same thing. Okay. One of the big things I learned, and the reason why what I do with my clients is a signature group coaching course and not just, or a signature group coaching program and not just a course, it's because I learned very early on when I moved into this space that it's not a one-time thing. You don't just build it and then it continues to work for you over and over and over again. We have to continue to maintain and shift and change things and work through the struggles that we have. Okay. All right. Step 1, we're going to be talking about owning your niche. Step 2, we're going to be talking about how to position yourself as the go-to expert. And step 3, we're going to be talking about creating a pipeline full of dream clients, because that's what we want. That's the sustainability piece. That's the consistency piece. I know people who can do this. I know people who've then stepped into this. This is the piece that's the struggle. This is the piece that's hard. All right. So step 1, owning your niche. We want to own our niche and not just like know our niche so that we can land clients as fast as possible. All right. So if you do a quick inventory of who your current clients are and what kind of work you do for them, if you do that, what are you doing? Do you have a variety of different clients? Do you have a variety of different things that you're doing for your clients? I will tell you, and you can look at not even just the clients that you're currently working with, but the ones that you've worked with in the past. Okay. This is one of the things that John and I actually talked about a couple weeks ago. Just because you work with somebody doesn't mean that their niche necessarily have to be part of your niche. Like, that's part of owning a business, is you get to decide who to work with. And if somebody feels really good and who they are feels really in alignment with you and your business, you are totally open and welcome to take them on as a client. Just know that it makes running your business harder. The more streamlined who we work with is, and the more streamlined the work that we do is, that's where the beautiful piece is. That requires the least amount of energy. And that's what we want to be doing. Okay. So if you are talking about when somebody asks you what you do and like who you work with, and you're listing off either a laundry list of services, or you have this very broad group of people like entrepreneurs, service providers, those things are making it harder for you. Okay. So when we check back in with 2019 Elise, sad Elise, lost 2/3 of her clients. One of the biggest mistakes that I had made up to that point is that I had not truly niched down. I was not owning my niche. When people asked me what I did, I told them that I was helping to organize the back end systems of their business. Great, awesome. And I wasn't doing that for anybody because I didn't even know what that looked like. And so I wasn't owning my niche. I had a power pitch, sure, but I wasn't owning it. Those are not the people I was working with. I was going over here and working with anybody who would pay me money. That'll make you money and it'll lose you money and not build a sustainable business. Okay. So here are 3 signs that you haven't actually owned your niche yet. You have a power pitch, but it's really vague, like who you work with or the work that you do. And I swear, if in your power pitch, the thing that you say is that you save them time, you have not honed in enough on exactly the transformation that you are providing for people. Because as a service provider, you save people time. Every single one of you. Okay. One of the other signs is that none of the work that you do is actually falling into your niche. And again, like I said, if you have a couple clients and you're doing work that, like, you're either working with a group of people and they're not really the normal group of people that you work with, that's fine, whatever, great. They seem like awesome people. They're willing to pay for your packages. You still get to do the work that you love. All of those things are great. But if you say that you work with creative entrepreneurs and you have a lawyer, you have a like business coach, and you have like an architecture firm, like none of those people actually fall into your niche. Okay. And one of the other big signs is that when you have the thought of, I need a client, you are willing to take on anything that comes your way. That last one hits me very personally. That is very much a fear-based mentality of like, I need a client. I'm going to go find whatever client is willing to work with me for whatever amount of money. You do what you got to do. I will never be here to tell you that you can't take on a client. Again, it's your business. And if you do that, know that there is a consequence to your business and the longevity of it. You just have to know what sacrifice you're making. Okay. So some things that you did in the beginning that you might still be doing. You're going out and talking to as many people as you can and seeing how you can help them. Again, not wrong, and not building a sustainable business. You haven't created packages yet. You make everything custom to exactly what they need. And you can totally offer multiple different services. None of those things are wrong. That is absolutely the way that you start a business, a freelancing business, 100%. Especially if you're like, I don't know what niche to choose. You start by talking to people and seeing what they need help with. And if you feel like you can help them, you go and do it. Great. But you can't run a sustainable business that way. Okay. You can't land ideal clients if you don't know who those people are. So when people talk about landing ideal clients and you're like, well, I don't know, do I even have ideal clients? You have to know who they are first before you can go land them. And you can't build a sustainable business chasing after all different kinds of leads. That's exhausting. It's exhausting for me to even think about that. I don't want that for you. I want something that is predictable and as much predictability as you want for your business. Okay. So here are my top tips for you to really own your niche. Make sure that you've optimized your bio so that when people come and find you, because I promise you, as you are networking and talking with people, they are going to click on your profile. Okay. Make sure you've done market research and the services that you're providing for the group of people you're providing them for are something that they know that they want and need for their business. Because if they don't have those two things, the longevity is much longer. You have to make them problem aware, which takes a while, and then you have to make them solution aware. And you don't want to feel like you have to convince people to work with you. That doesn't feel good. And so our market research is really going to point out the things that our ideal clients feel like they really need in order to move their businesses forward. Okay. You want to make sure that you've created packages that are value-based, not hourly based. We are no longer working by hour. It's not how long it takes us to do the task, it's the value it brings to the business. Their ability to make more money, their ability to take on more clients. Okay. And you want to make sure that you're networking and talking with people and telling them who you are and how you serve people and how they can work with you. Okay. You have to own your niche. You have to own it. You have to come to the conclusion that you are not just taking on whatever work you can to reach those income goals. And that's really big. That's where things really shift and change, because I know plenty of people who've made $5,000, $10,000 a month, and they hated it. And they were completely exhausted and didn't really want to keep doing it. Owning your niche, working with people inside of your niche, that is one of the things that's going to allow you to really love your business. Okay. There's a lot of really amazing things that happen when you own your niche and decide to only help one set of people with one specific set of skills. Okay. This is my lovely friend, Kelly. She's actually here today. Love you, Kelly. And when Kelly joined the Sustainable Business Foundations Group Coaching Program, she really wanted to be a copywriter. And yet, if she looked at the body of work that she had done for her clients, it didn't reflect that. And there was a lot of self-doubt that was happening for her. Like, am I even a copywriter? Can I even do this? Like, what is happening? And she said that, she was doing all of the writing that she had done was as like a guest blogger on other people's platforms. And so she really wanted to be able to step into that. And so over the course of the last several months, not only have I watched her do that, but I've also watched her have so many beautiful moments of clarity of like, this is not what I want to keep doing. I have this client, they are not respecting my boundaries. I'm trying to hold my boundaries. It's not working. I need to be done. I need to move forward away from this client. For as much as I need the money that they are bringing in for me and my family, it's not worth the energy that it is sucking from my soul. Those are my words, not hers. Okay. And so now, over the last several months, she has really stepped into owning her niche and developing an offer that is really going to just like, will amaze you. It is really beneficial. It is something that her ideal clients need and want. And because of that, it is going to make it easier for her to land clients. We want to make things easy for ourselves. Like, let's not have it be hard. Okay. When you end up niching down and really niche down, you end up being the first person that comes to mind within your network, because you're telling people about the very specific group of people you help doing a very specific set of skills. You truly understand how what you do benefits your clients because you've done the market research on it, and you become the expert, which means you get to charge more money. Okay. I will also tell you that the more practice you have doing something will end up giving you more confidence. And that means you get to have your pick of clients. But confidence comes from taking action, not the other way around. Okay. You absolutely can offer a laundry list of services. There's nothing wrong with that. People run their businesses like that. It's just making it really hard for you. And I want to make it easy. Okay. Step 2, now that we have owned our niche, we know who it is that we're serving, done the market research, we put together packages, all the good things. Now we need to position ourselves as the go-to expert. Okay. This really builds on the last piece of owning your niche, which is the networking piece of it. But inside of the networking, we also need to be marketing our businesses. Okay. You have to be able to position yourself as that go-to expert and create content that actually lands you clients, because the content you've created points to the fact that you're an expert. Okay. So drop a yes if this sounds like you. When someone mentions networking, you want to throw up. You network by scrolling social media without ever actually making any real connections. Meaning you might leave a comment here or there, but like it doesn't go beyond the thing that you guys were talking about originally. And your last several posts on your social media were about your kids and not tied to your business at all. So if any of those are something that you would say yes to, drop a yes in the comments. Okay. Networking and marketing are keys to finding clients. No matter what kind of business you run, no matter what, you will always have to network and you will always have to market. And marketing at this point, a lot of it is creating content and pushing out that content. That's a lot of your marketing. Okay. You have to know where to look, how to post content that makes people go, hey, she can totally help me. And you want to set yourself apart from others that do the same stuff that you do. Okay. So the problem with the way that a lot of people network, and y'all, everything in this presentation, when I point out a problem, calling myself out. And not just like former December 2019 Elise, but like, still fall into these habits because it's how you started. And so one of the big problems when people say, okay, I'm going to go out and network, and they set themselves a timer for like 30 minutes, a lot of times they're scrolling instead of offering value, or they're searching for job apps, or they aren't willing to start conversations. And when I say start conversations, I mean send somebody a direct message and start having a conversation with them. And they don't follow up. And I would say most of the people inside group coaching have done a really great job of avoiding the top two. They know that like when we go in a network, we're not just scrolling, we are offering value. They're not just searching for job apps. That's fine. The part that is still a struggle, that's still hard to get into, is starting conversations and then following up with people. Okay. You have to be willing to embrace the idea that you are not a newbie anymore and you actually do have value to give people. Even if the value you feel like you're giving is like something that feels really common knowledge, people need to hear it. And by you giving that, that sets you into a place of being the leader and the expert versus somebody who's just consuming information. And you have to be able and willing to start direct conversations with people. Okay. There's also this fine balance that we have to find between creating content that shows your authority while also having direct conversations with people. And one of the other things that I see is like you tell yourself that you're going to go in and have all of these conversations and you do really well for a couple of days or even a couple of weeks. And then, like John said in the comments, the consistency falls off. And it's because the way that we were doing it was not setting ourselves up for success. We were trying to do as much of it as we possibly could in the shortest period of time. Okay. And the biggest thing to keep in mind when you are networking and talking with people is that it's about building relationships. It's not about how quickly you can land that sale. It's about how can I help and serve this person so that their life is better because I know them. Okay. And so I want you to think about what an expert does. An expert is a person who has comprehensive and authoritative knowledge in a particular area. And so when we are talking about this in terms of how you run your business, you don't have to know all of the things. You just have to know enough to benefit your clients. And you want to come in with that authoritative knowledge that you do know what you're talking about. Okay. If you are waiting to feel confident in what you're doing before you start showing up, the confidence isn't coming, because confidence comes from taking action, not the other way around. Things are never going to look and be perfect enough for you to be showing up. You have to go take the action. And the way that my former coach put it, like you want to fail faster. You want to fail as fast as you can, because the more times you fail, the more opportunities you have to become better and more refined. And so we want to be doing that. And the more that you do it and make tweaks and changes, and the faster you're willing to have those failure moments, the more that confidence is going to come. Okay. You have to believe that you're the expert. Okay. So you want to show up as the expert. Cool. Let's create content that shows that you know what you're talking about and it can actually help people. Meaning quick tips, telling client stories, walking people through your process. I cannot even tell you how beneficial it is to walk somebody through your process and how that makes you feel like and show up as an expert. It feels so simple. It feels like, how does this even count as a piece of content that shows that I'm an expert? But by having a process, people gain confidence in you and trust in you, and then they're more willing to work with you. Okay. It helps you understand the depths. You have to understand the depths of what you do and how it helps people, and that's reflected in your packages. You have to be willing to ask the right questions that bring to light the people who are ready to work with you. And you have to talk to people like you know what you're doing. Okay. So this is Helen. She is one of my former clients. And I started working with Helen repurposing her content because of a comment that she had seen me make in another Facebook group. Guys, it was not a fancy comment. It was really like, hey, I repurpose content for people. I'd love to help you. And it wasn't to her, it was to somebody else. And she saw me make that comment. She then went and stalked me and looked at all of my content that I had created that set me up as an expert. And then when she hopped on the call, she was all ready to say yes. The reason she hopped on the call was to make sure I was a real person, make sure we drive together. Okay. She saw me as the expert before we even chatted, because I had created content that showed that I was. And so she was willing and able to trust the decisions that I made. She never once questioned how much she paid me. She budgeted it in for like the whole year. It was amazing to feel like, cool, she already feels confident enough working with me. Awesome. I was her teammate. I was not an employee. Okay. And our working relationship was not out of the ordinary. Helen is not the only client that I had like that. And it's because I had set myself up as the expert from the get-go. It made our entire client relationship that much better. And you can do the same thing. Okay. The last step, after you've owned your niche and now you've become the expert, the last step is making sure that you keep your pipeline full of dream clients. And we say pipeline because it's not just a full roster of clients, it's all of the other people that you've been talking to as well. We want to make sure that that pipeline, that there are people in the back, on the back burner, that you've been networking and talking to, who are in your warm leads, that are ready and willing to work with you for when you have that client who emails you and says, you know what, I'm going to have to give you my 30 days notice. Cool. Let me kick it into gear. I'm going to go talk to client A over here, potential client A over here, and let them know that I have an opening in 30 days. How exciting is that? Okay. So drop a 1 in the comments if you've ever reached a 5K month before or gotten close and then you feel like the rug got ripped out from under you. and maybe not 5K months, but like reaching, you were starting to see momentum. You started to see that you were making enough money. You could see that the thing was working, the system was working. And then rug got completely ripped out from under you and you felt like you were back at square one. So 2019 Elise, sweet baby Elise, we love her a lot. She's a building block for where we are now. Not only had I lost 2/3 of my clients, but I didn't have a clue how I was going to gain back the clients to fill the gap. That was the scary part. It's not fun to hear that like somebody doesn't work with you anymore, but it's the thing that happens after that. It's the moment of like, cool. So what do I do? Right? And here's the thing, you don't have to lose a bunch of clients to know the dreaded feeling of hoping your clients hang on with you, even if you don't really even like them or what you're doing with them. I know Jenna fills me on this one. And I don't want you to be in that situation. I don't want you to feel gridlocked by a soul sucking client. Because it just like didn't work. One of the biggest mistakes that I see freelancers making is that once they have all of their clients, their roster is full, we become fully booked out in our business, they stop networking. Or they let their foot off the gas. But more often than not, they stop completely. And 9 times out of 10, it's even before they reach the fully booked out phase. It's the point where they're like, cool, I have a lot of clients. This is taking up a lot of effort and energy. And I don't have time anymore to be networking. And that's huge. That's so huge. Because if you've ever been there, you're in really good company. The way that you've been networking and marketing is not sustainable. It's not a habit that we've built. And that's the thing that we want to do. We want to build a habit of networking and marketing ourselves so that even when our roster of clients is completely full, we can still continue to serve people. Okay. And we can have people who are excited and willing to work with us so that when a client tells us that they can't work with us anymore, we're not feeling like we're starting from square one. And if you want to keep clients coming in, you've got to keep talking to people and knowing when they're ready to work with you. And the best way to do this is to be tracking your leads. Okay. You have to be tracking your leads and building relationships. You will find plenty of people. I have like 6 that popped into my head who will tell you that like either that tracking your leads feels really robotic or wrong, or that somehow you're not actually building relationships if you're like jotting things down in a chart. But I will tell you this, like I go to the doctor once a year, and every time the doctor comes in and she starts up a conversation about things that we had talked about a year ago, she doesn't remember our conversation. She wrote notes down so that when she comes in to see me, it feels like a real, like we're continuing and picking up on the conversation we had before. The expectation that you can keep it all in your head and that somehow building honest and real relationships has to be something that like is just living in your brain is ridiculous. I am a mom is like cottage cheese up here anymore. Like that really was a really terrible analogy. How about more like a colander? That's a better analogy. Nothing stays in there. I have to write things down. Even with my coaching clients, I write things down so that I can make sure I stay on top of what they need and how I can help them. Yeah, John is right. When they do that, when you start a conversation from other things that you've talked about before, or something like when we talk about social media, something you saw in their stories, then you're talking to them like a human being, and it makes them feel like you really care about them. Okay. They're not just a number. For as much as other people will tell you that by doing that, you're seeing them as a number, you're seeing them as a transaction, you're not. The number of times that I've talked to my coaching clients and they have said, Elise, I've started a lot of conversations and they never went anywhere, and I couldn't even tell you who those people are. Then you have to start a lot more new conversations, and that becomes bleh. But if you track them and you keep track of the conversation, then they're not just a number. It really is truly somebody that you want to help, and you know that you can serve them. It becomes way easier. Here's the biggest thing. Your consistency is the most important thing over doing it constantly. So if right now your season of life consistency looks like one time a week is great. Just don't stop. Okay. The general conversion rate, if you were to talk to, they say it's like 1 to 2%, 2 to 3%, you would need to talk to 100 people in order to land 2, maybe 3 clients. Okay. But when you track your leads and you stay in contact with people, your close rate dramatically increases. And you get to vet people before they work with you. Whereas these 2 to 3 clients, it really is like, do they even really want to work with me? Okay. Some other big things to keep your pipeline full of dream clients. You have to continuously check in with your current clients. They have to have and feel like working with you is instrumental to their business. You also need to have renewal dates on your contracts. Not expiration dates, renewal dates. And be contacting people 30 days out from that renewal date so that if they are somebody who's like, actually, this isn't working anymore, you have a full 30 days to find a new client. And you have to be adding value to your clients and showing that you are part of their team and not just a lead or not just like a transaction. So at this point, we've covered the importance of niching down, how to stand out as a go-to expert, and how to keep clients coming in. Okay. Once I niched down, some pretty awesome things happened. I was able to make consistent 5K plus months. I became super picky about the clients that I worked with because I'm not just going to work with anybody. They need to be the right fit. I knew exactly when clients were coming and going, which allowed me to then ramp up my networking if I knew that I needed to, or reach out to people who were in that warm lead area. I was able to dictate the number of hours I worked each week, including on my own business. And I know how to show up and network consistently to keep my pipeline full of dream clients. Okay. I wanted to be working 20 hours a week, but those 20 hours needed to be really intentional. And because of the way that I had set up my business, I was finally able to do that. And therefore, I was enjoying the work that I was doing. And because I was intentional with my work time, I was also intentional with the time I spent with my kids and my family. Intentionality with your time is one of the key factors to running a sustainable business. So if you took action on what we talked about today, do you think that you could reach consistent 5K months? I want to show you the roadmap that I created from my own experience that allowed me to make consistent 5K months with dream clients while only working 20 hours a week and having full control over my business. And I'd really like to show you. It is, you guys, it's brand new. My current coaching clients are going to be like, oh my gosh, this thing exists now. And it's you guys, it's the building blocks for consistent 5K months. And I spent so long being so wishy-washy about like telling people the direct steps to take. But if we're being completely honest, the reason why we changed this whole presentation, this free training, is because it really does matter. You have to own your niche before you can become the go-to expert, and you have to be the go-to expert at owning your niche before you can create a pipeline full of dream clients. Like, it has to go in that order. And so I finally put together this framework for you that really shows you and takes you through each of the different steps. It gives you clarity on who you serve and how you serve them. It's about creating a networking and marketing plan so that you can really get out there and be visible and present. And it's, I mean, we dive into building SOPs that make your business run really smoothly and require less energy from you. We talk about how to create authority building content and creating an excellent client experience. Because the thing that we want to do is we want to be running a business that you love, that's not going to burn you out. Okay, here it is, guys. See if it'll let me show you. And we're not going to take too much time on this. I just want to show you the document. And for all of my friends who are currently in my group coaching program already, the one that I'm giving you is a little bit different. It has links that go directly to the different resources and different modules and videos that correspond to each of these different building blocks. Okay. So nailing down your niche, diving into market research, creating your packages and main offers. John, I want to talk about the number of tabs I've opened. It's fewer than it has been. Getting visible and building connections, perfecting your client experience, running your business like a CEO, following up with people, fleshing out your systems, diving into automation, and then creating a pipeline full of potential clients. And some of this you jump around a little bit and you come back to, but for the most part, these things start to really build on themselves. And if you get distracted and you think that you need to start fleshing out your systems, but quite honestly, we're still back here and need to be getting visible and building connections, this is not the most important step. Okay. So if you would love to see this document, I am happy to send it to you. Just send me a message and I will let you, I will share that with you. Oh, presentation. Okay. John, you get the more detailed one because you're already in group coaching. Okay. Okay. All of this is, these are the building blocks to consistent 5K months. This is the building blocks for the Sustainable Business Foundation's group coaching. Okay. And back in January, I was chatting with the members of my group coaching program, and we made some shifts and changes to the program itself because what we were doing wasn't really working, and it started to look and feel a lot like any other group coaching program. We had weekly calls, you checked in. It was more like a Q&A call, and that was all fine and dandy. But honestly, I want you out there doing the work, and the way that the program had been set up wasn't supporting that. So we changed some things. And so now the goal is to get us to making consistent 5K months. And a lot of that is about taking action and doing the work. And so we've reduced it down to only having 2 group coaching calls per month that really focus on removing any blocks or giving you extra trainings. It's not a Q&A call. I answer questions in lives in the group at different times. Okay. We have guest experts that come in and talk about things that are not my area of expertise. We just had somebody do a money mindset training and it was phenomenal. Okay. There's a vault of trainings that will get linked out in the document that you just saw. There are weekly check-ins. And I think one of the most fundamental things that we added was the unlimited Voxer access to me, because it allows you to ask questions in the moment. Because there's nothing worse than being in a group coaching program and the only time that you have access to your coach is on the weekly Q&A call. And like, I don't know about you, but every time I went to a weekly Q&A call, like the Q&A call was on my calendar and I was running to it from all of the other things going on, and I didn't have time to think about the things that I needed help with. And so having unlimited Voxer access really allows my clients to get in contact with me in a time and a manner that makes the most sense to them. Okay. And you get a monthly 30-minute one-on-one coaching call with me. We get to sit down, just you and me, to hash out the details of what needs to happen in your business, where the biggest pieces you're getting stuck, so that we can move your business forward. Okay. The main goal inside the group coaching program is to take action and land dream clients so you can make consistent income and have a business you love. I don't want you sitting behind a computer, like going through all of the modules of things. You know what you're doing. Now it's time to go take action and do the stuff. And there's little shifts and tweaks that we have to make and certain aspects that we need to shift and change, and that's fine. But a lot of it is going and doing the thing. Okay. This group coaching program is for you if you've been working in your business and landed at least a few clients and you're ready to feel that confidence of niching down. You're ready. You've reached your energetic maximum, but not your income max. You're getting real tired of doing the things that you're doing, and you're starting to feel that burnout creep in, and your income is still not where you want it to be. Okay. You're struggling to manage clients and find new ones. And you have a whole bunch of clients who are not ideal and doing work that you no longer want to provide. You don't have to be all of these things, but if one of these things stuck out to you, this group coaching program is absolutely a great fit for you. I hate seeing amazing humans throw in the towel just because they can't make it work. Okay. So when you join group coaching, the Sustainable Business Foundations group coaching, you get the Sustainable Business Vault of trainings. You get access to all of the guest expert trainings and all of the previous like recorded coaching calls. But I don't know how many people actually go back and watch all of those. You get the Dream Client Trifecta Blueprint, which was just updated, and I do say so myself, it's pretty phenomenal. It talks about my dream client trifecta, which is the trifecta of having a networking plan, a content creation plan, and a follow-up plan that all work together. So you don't feel like you're just like willy-nilly doing things. You get a monthly one-on-one coaching call with me, and you get Voxer access. Amazing. Okay. And here's a sample list of some of the trainings that are included. We have a training on networking effectively with conversation starters. We have a training on marketing yourself. We have a training on creating authority, building content. We have a training on tracking your leads. We have sales training that will increase your close rate and land you more clients. Okay. I want you to be fully booked out. I want you making consistent 5K months. I want you to be creating something sustainable so that you can keep doing this thing. The real question is, do you? Okay. Just this week, in supporting my group coaching clients, because we didn't have a call this week, And I was still able to support all of these clients in such a customized and specific way. I have had 7 one-on-one coaching calls. Okay. I did a live in the group to answer questions that came in the checkout form about what happens when your clients don't take your advice, how to handle referrals who don't respond to you, and the fastest way to land clients. Client A, we worked on changing our mindset around losing a client, because again, that doesn't feel good. With client B, we were pushing forward through fear of not finishing up a project and giving distinct action steps. Client C, we worked on how to position a new offer and gain clients' confidence to execute well. With client D, we were working on supporting in owning her niche and reassuring her that her content is really good and that she's doing the right thing, even if you don't see the benefits of it right immediately. With client E, we were talking about how to follow up and get new potential clients to commit. Okay, and this is just a handful of the things that we've been doing. But don't just take my word for it. Here are not all, some of my favorite people who are in our group coaching program. Miss Renee, she has just niched down to being an OBM. She was still, when she joined group coaching, she was still trying to figure out exactly what it was that she wanted to do. But there's a lot of beauty that happens when you finally take the plunge and decide what it is that you want to be niching down into. So that's kind of where she is at right now. And then Miss Kelly Harris, who was featured a little bit earlier, she is owning that copywriting thing. She's created a VIP day and it's just doing some really amazing things in her business. And I think the biggest thing, Kelly, that I have seen from you is just this change in mindset and feeling confident that you are going to make this whole business thing work. And then Miss Melania, it's been a little bit of a struggle to figure out exactly what her main offer is going to be, but I think we've really honed in on it. And one of the big things we talked about this week was not necessarily needing to reach out to a whole bunch of new people, but following up with people she's already talked to before. And then Des here, she is doing website design. And our last conversation was about really niching down into something that I don't know that most web designers would do. And then Miss Judy is doing, she's a social media manager, and her confidence has just skyrocketed since joining group coaching. She finally feels and knows that the content she puts out there for her clients is actually really good and really beneficial. And that confidence is helping her to feel confident enough to show up for herself. And then Sam, oh my goodness, this girl, she just posted a couple days ago in another group that she is nearly at her 5K mark, and go find her over on Instagram and read some of her stuff. She is owning that expertise, and it is so beautiful to watch her do that, because then you can feel the ooze of confidence that is coming out of her. And then here's my friend John. John, I had to update your picture, man, because you just are not the same person you were a year ago. And John also has taken a really big leap of faith into knowing and understanding that maybe the niche he originally chose doesn't need his services the way that he and I both know that they need his services. So he's making some shifts and changes to that. And we also worked on his networking so that it felt more in alignment with what he was doing. And then Miss Courtney, she is a bookkeeper. Courtney is one of my OGs. She has been with me since the very beginning, going on 2 years now. And like, she's amazing. The fact that she has 5 kids and is running a bookkeeping business. And one of her biggest ahas lately has been setting aside that intentional time to work on her business and having somebody come help with the kids, even just a couple hours a day, has truly been so valuable to her business. And then Miss Jenna and Miss Nina, both of these ladies are also OG mamas. And I mean, their businesses just don't even look the same as they did 2 years ago. Jenna is working on a new offer that is amazing. And Miss Nina is finally getting ready to dive back into the world of owning a business. She had taken a little bit of a hiatus when she had her daughter, but is now feeling like she's ready. And that's the beauty of this, is everything is an ebb and flow in our business in this season. And I want to make sure that you know that, so that you can continue to run your business that way as well. Okay. So my last question for you: what would making consistent 5K months mean to you? What would that mean for your family? Why is it that you want to be making consistent 5K months? And would it be worth it? And so if you're feeling called, I want to invite you to apply to join us for the Sustainable Business Foundations Group Coaching Program. It is thesustainablebusinesscollective.com/application. Kelly said consistent 5K months means financial freedom, being able to travel and make memories and experiences with family. Living your life, really living it. Okay. It is a 6-month initial commitment where our main goal is to reach the status of creating consistent 5K months. Okay. And so your investment for the first 6 months is either $450 per month for 6 months, or a pay in full of $2,700 for those first 6 months. And then after 6 months, the ongoing group coaching monthly payment is $250 a month. All because you attended this really awesome training. Okay. And so gaining just one new retainer client at $500 a month, a minimum, all of you absolutely should have, would cover that monthly investment. Okay. And if you sign up in the next 24 hours, I am gifting you a Plan Your Way to 5K VIP day with me, where we're going to plan out your custom plan to reaching those consistent 5K months. Okay. I really appreciate you sticking with me. I know it ran long. We had some technical difficulties at the beginning. Not difficulties, whatever. Your free training. So here's my gift to you. I have this free training for you. It's all on the Dream Client Trifecta that is going to walk you through what each of those different pieces are. And so you can grab that at the sustainablebusinesscollective.com/webinar freebie. And I want to encourage you, if this feels like a yes, if this feels like even a maybe, I want to encourage you to apply. Because here's what happens. When you apply, you request the purchase. You can do one of two things. So like you fill out the information, whatever. The very last question is, what is your next step? And if you're a yes and you're ready to sign up, I will send over the purchase link to you if I feel like we're a good fit. Or you can request to hop on a quick call with me where I will answer any of your questions. Because here's the deal. I don't want to force you into group coaching, into this group coaching program, if you were in any way hesitating. Because that hesitation is going to keep you from taking action and actually seeing the fruits of your labor. I want you to feel really confident and I don't want you to feel pressured. But I can guarantee you that if you join us, because it's a perfect match for you, that I will do everything I can to support you in the action that you take in your business to reach those consistent 5K months. I can't land your clients. I can't go do the networking for you, but I will help you overcome those mindset blocks. I will help you put together your packages so that they really speak to how you can help solve problems with people. Okay. If you have any other questions, you can always email me as well. I am there and available. And as Jenna said, I can't read all of your comments, Jenna. Well, I can't. Oh, hold on. I am not the kind of coach who is like if any of you know McCall Jones, like she has so much energy and just brightness, and it is who she is. Like that's just who she is. I mean, I'm going to use the word opposite, but I don't know that I don't want to create this distinction that like somehow I'm not as dedicated. It's just not my energy level. And so if you've been doing group coaching or coaching in general with people and it feels like you need some different support, I support my clients in a different way. Okay. Are there any other questions before we hop off here? Don't forget to fill out that application. By watching the training, make sure that in the application you click that you watched the free training, you get that $300 discount. And it's either $300 on over the course of the 6-month monthly payments, or it's $300 off of that pay in full price for that first 6-month initial commitment. Okay. If there is anything else that you need, I am always available and I am always willing to help you be successful. That is the most important thing for me. I want you to know that I love you and I care about you and I want your business to be as successful as humanly possible. Right. Have a wonderful day and I will see you later.